Alright, so I'm just sitting here waiting on my Hawk 250 to show up. Well, actually, I didn't buy the Hawk. I bought the TAO. Pretty much the same thing, but we're waiting on the truck to pull up. The guy just called, said he was at Washington and State Street. This looks like him now, pulling up. So hopefully it's not too badly damaged. How you doing, man?
All right, yourself, man.
Not too bad.
I gotta dig whatever it is you got. I gotta dig it out.
All right.
All right. There, that's easy to sign that after I get it off.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I just need to check it out.
Motorcycle or something?
Yeah, it's a dirt bike.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's up in the news. I gotta move a few things over.
Really?
Yeah.
All righty.
Yeah.
No rush, man.
Man, they put all the Indianapolis stops in the nose and put all the shit like going to fucking Fortville and Anderson.
Oh man, all right the way.
I was like, man, that's some dumbass.
Yeah.
I knew when I saw it on that, so I bet you that's going to Indianapolis. I can't see the label on it.
Oh
You
yeah.
know which one it's going, but I saw those back there. I was like, oh, you must be getting that.
Yeah, it's a street legal dirt bike is what
Oh,
it
really?
is. Yeah.
Okay.
Today, man, I wasn't sure exactly when it was gonna show. I called them earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I've been real worried, man.
They told this one dude I delivered to him last week. He was like, man, they called me Monday, said it was gonna be here Tuesday. I took Tuesday off of work. They showed up. Then they said I called him Wednesday. They said it would be here Wednesday.
Hell
They
yeah.
show up. Still didn't show up. And here I show up Friday, and he was just like, he was like, man, he told me what happened.
Yeah.
And then he was like, man, I got things to do today. I got to pick back some other time.
Yeah, I was looking at them reviews on there, man. There was a lot of people that was saying the exact same thing, man.
Yeah. I am bad with it.
Yeah, I should be good as long as nothing's tore up, man. Yeah, just to kind of make sure. The box doesn't look too bad, so I'm guessing.
I don't see any punctures anyway.
Yeah.
Punctures besides that right down there on the corner.
Yeah.
Rushing up against something.
I just need to get this in case they try and get me.
You want to look it over now? Wait till we get back.
Yeah, let me go ahead and look it over now. Cause I won't be able to accept it if it's. You by chance got a knife on you, do you?
You know what? God dang, I left it up in my truck.
I got one back
Shit,
here.
at work.
Let me grab one real quick.
Okay.
I'll try and hurry, man. Yeah, I just come straight over here from work because I wanted my old lady just left and I wanted to make sure somebody was here.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if he was gonna call or not, so
okay.
just to be on the safe side or whatever. I just need to make sure nothing's too messed up here. These are all the fairings and stuff. Looks like they did send me the color that I wanted. There's like 4 colors to choose from, but I guess if they're low on stock, they just send you like whatever they got.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're good, man.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You want it back here?
Yeah, if we can get it back there, that'd be great.
Okay.
Or even in front of the garage right there. Yeah, could you just put it like right here?
Yeah.
Awesome. This ground's pretty rough back here, man.
That came off from the jacking it up.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Right there.
That'll work. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
No problem, bro.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, you need me to sign. Okay.
Yeah. We're good. Put this down.
First and foremost, guys, before I get into anything on the build on this, I just want to show you some stuff. Just first off, before you start doing anything. For starters, I could not find the brackets that went from the side mounts on the headlight that the headlight hooked to up here on the forks. And the reason I couldn't find them is because these brackets were already bolted on to the turn signals. So the whole time I'm just looking for these two brackets, and I couldn't find them. So those were hooked to the turn signals. I actually emailed them and told them I was missing these brackets. And then today when I got home, I went to put the turn signals on. I realized that those brackets were hooked to the signals. So that's the first thing. First issue I ran into anyway. Second issue that I'm going to tell you, just not really a problem, but it'll make things easier. So on the bottom of this, you got these little rubber things. Go ahead and put these down in here. Let me get my flashlight. You can see right there. Put those down inside of there first. Otherwise, you'll be fighting these rubber things when you go to put that headlight on. Just wiggle them around a little bit until they fall down in there. You could probably even put a little bit of grease on them if you wanted to. So put them in first, and then these little nubs on the bottom of here will slide down in, and them rubber things a lot easier than trying to slide those rubber pieces down in there. Second thing, I could not find my clamp So when I got my bike, this header pipe was not on here, which I really wasn't too happy about. I figured that would have been on there, but whatever. So there's a clamp right there where my light is, right where that pipe hooks to the pipe, to the tailpipe portion where it goes up. That clamp was like way up there on that pipe, and they had the bolt tightened down on it, and I couldn't see it because this cover right here, I wasn't really paying no attention. So I was looking all over hell for that clamp, and it was clamped up there on that pipe. So if you can't find that clamp, you might try and look there. Third thing is these studs on here for the exhaust. They are not long enough. You can't go any farther towards the head with this flange right here because it has like a lip on the front of that header pipe where it goes up in there that actually holds everything together. But those studs are not long enough. And as you can see, I couldn't even put any lock washers behind them nuts. If I crank them down any farther, they're just going to break right off. So that's one thing you might want to keep in mind. I'm probably going to end up having issues with that. Let's see. What else? There's a hose. Go ahead and pull that out of there, actually, just to show you guys. I got on the Facebook group. A lot of people said this was just kind of like a breather type thing. I can't figure out what the hell that even hooks to, but everybody says it goes to nothing. I don't know how true that is, but from everybody I've talked to, they said they just tucked it up under the tank, and that's where they left it. Next thing that I ran into trouble with is inside of here, when you go to put, you'll have to split this switch apart. It's got 2 Phillips head screws on the underneath side of it down here. When you go to put this on, it has a small screw inside of here. And you'll find that when you go to put these back together on this bar, they will not go back together all the way. And that's because that screw has to be lined up with a hole. There's a hole on the underneath side right here. There's a hole on the underneath side of this bar that screw in there has to line up with. It has to go inside of that hole, and then you squeeze this together, put your 2 screws back in. That keeps this from spinning around, apparently. I would imagine that's why. If you find that you cannot get that to close when you put the screws in, that's why. So far, that's all I've ran into problem-wise. Actually, no, there was one other thing that I did. I got ahead of myself when I was putting this together. So there's a bolt that goes in that rear shock, and when I got all the hardware out of the bag, that bolt that goes to that rear shock, it had a spacer on it, a big fat spacer. It does not go to that bolt. That spacer goes up here. It goes right here in the side of this wheel right here, right up against the bearing in there. So when you go to put this wheel on, make sure that you put that spacer in. This is on the brake caliper side. Alright guys, we are about to gas up the TBR-7, see if she'll fire up for the first time. I think I have everything pretty much good and tightened up on it. I have all the parts on it, and I'm going to try and see if it'll fire up. I just put the battery in. The battery arrived. It was already in the bike when the bike arrived, and it was actually fully charged already, so I didn't have to mess with the battery much other than just hooking the power and the ground wire on it. Alright, so one thing that I am going to go ahead and do before I try and start this is I'm going to check for any fuel leaks real quick. Trying to find my flashlight. Make sure we're not leaking fuel anywhere before I go trying to fire this thing up. This is the first time I put any fuel in it at all whatsoever. So one thing that I did notice the other day, was this petcock was actually set to the on position when it arrived. So I went ahead and put that to off before I ever put any gas in it. So right now, I'm not seeing any gas leaking anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and turn this to on and just check for leaks, check for drips, any gas running out anywhere. Looks pretty good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and try and fire it up. Now, I'm not gonna ride it just yet. I'm just gonna do a start up. So I think that's on choke. Make sure the kill switch isn't not on kill. It's in the on position. This is the electric start. Give it just a teeny tiny bit of gas. All right, I turned the idle up a little bit on the carb. I got it to where it'll run on its own. It's still sitting half choke right now, though. It's still kind of missing a little bit. It does have a miss to it. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm going to go ahead and take it up and down the street real quick and come back and see how it does.
How fast can it go?
Top speed, about 60 with a good carburetor on. 60, 65. If I put a decent carb on it, from what I've seen online anyway. So I'm going to have to,
how fast can
I need to adjust the clutch because it's not coming out of first right now. So I got to figure out what's up with that. And that's probably going to be tomorrow before I do that. So that's it for this clip. Yeah, she rides like a charm. Shifting out real nice now after I adjusted that clutch. I didn't adjust it up here on the lever. I actually adjusted it. I adjusted it down here, and I adjusted it that direction. So the clutch wasn't engaging all the way, but I'm still having to leave it half choke up here on the lever to keep it running right. But a lot of people I heard online, a lot of people had that same problem. Up until when they swapped this carb over to the bikini carburetor, which I'm going to be doing. But that's great for a night. It's rideable. I cruised around for a minute. Me and my son, he took his little Yamaha TT90, and we went and rode around. It rides really nice. The suspension actually feels really good on it, going over bumps and stuff too. So that's going to be it for this one. All right, guys, this is the finished product. This is my 2021 TAO TBR-7. I purchased this from a company called POWERSPORTS out of Texas. Tax, shipping, overall price for the bike, everything was just a little over $1,600. I am still waiting on my paperwork for the title, the certificate of origin or whatever it is it comes with, so that I can go up and get plates for it. Everything arrived in really, really good condition. I had a couple little scuff marks here and there. Little spot right here. It's kind of boogered up a little bit. And then there was a couple little spots over here on this side. Right here, just a couple of scuff marks. But other than that, everything showed up really nice. The wheels are in good shape. All the fairings are in good shape. I did take all of the decals off just because I didn't care for the decals too much. And when I bought this bike, I was looking at photos beforehand, and I had already planned on taking the decals off when I purchased this bike. So the white was the color that I wanted. They had this specific version right here. They had this in white, green, and blue, I believe. So they did send me the white one. I seen on there that it had an option for a second color choice on the website. I put white on both of those because I strictly was only interested in the white. Now on the website, it did say that this bike came with chrome wheels, and it showed up with black, which was fine with me because I actually was wanting the black wheels over the chrome. And lucky for me, it did show up with black wheels. So assembly didn't take too long. Pretty much everything on my video I had on there on the assembly, other than the headlight, which is, you got a bolt here, a bolt right here, and you got two little tabs on the bottom that just slide in place. And then you have 4 bolts on the bottom of this fender that I didn't show on my video either. So I had to fast forward through a lot of that. There was a lot of footage on there. So overall, what I had to install was the exhaust, the headlight, the front fender, the front wheel. I had to install the speedometer thing for the speedo right here. You will have a spacer that goes on this side. You will have to install both of these side fairings, which there is a bolt here, and then you have a bolt down right here, and then you got a couple little slide tabs on the sides that you just take this fairing and slide it up against there like this. There's one up top, one on the bottom. You will also have to install this little rod right here. There's one bolt right here, and this rod runs from this side over to this side right here. I had to install this rack, the front turn signals on both sides, both of the mirrors, the handlebars, the controls on both sides. I also had to install this speedometer with this fuel gauge right here. It was fairly easy. There was 3 bolts in that. And I think that was pretty much it. Now on my bike, as you can see the lean that I have here going on, this bike when I got it was sitting almost straight up and down. I mean, it leaned to the left just barely. If you would have bumped this bike, it would have fell over on the ground. So what I did was I took 1.5 inches out of this kickstand. I cut it, removed 1.5 inches, welded it back together, repainted it. So as you can see, it has a pretty good lean to it now. It's not going anywhere. It's also a lot easier to get on and off of. I'm 5'11", and I can almost sit flat-footed on this bike, but just barely. Now I did turn this also, and I brought this shock down as low as it would go. So it has like a lock nut right here on the bottom. You got to turn that all the way down. And then this piece right here, right above that, you turn that all the way down. And that will give you a little bit more drop. Not a lot, but a little bit. I chose not to put the hand guards on just because I didn't like the way they looked. Here's the hand guards over here. There was nothing wrong with them. Wasn't no cracks in them, no damage, nothing. I chose not to use them. I like the way it looks without them. To me, it just has more of that dirt bike look without those on there. I like everything kind of plain Jane. I like a clean, sleek, just plain look. So you can get roughly right around 60 miles an hour out of this, depending on your gearing, your sprockets, and your carburetor. Now, a lot of people do jet this up higher, the carb that comes with it, but you can put a Makini carb on this and get a little more top speed out of it. Me personally, I'm not going to be taking this on the freeway. I'm really not that worried about it. I got this just to shoot the shit around town. I'm just going to cruise it around. I'm going to cruise to work. I got it just because it'd be a fun bike just to cruise around town on. Something street legal with turn signals and everything on it. It's just a convenient little bike to have. I've had a bunch of bikes over the years. A bunch of street bikes, crotch rockets. I've had Sportsters. And even the short period I've been driving this just around my neighborhood even. I've taken it up and down a couple major streets. Even this short period of time that I've had, this is by far my most favorite bike I've had out of all my bikes. Just the simple fact of the size. You can throw the thing around. It doesn't weigh anything. So anyways, it showed up in about a week. Nothing was damaged. I can't complain. I'm planning on buying another one from the same company. You can also buy this bike on Amazon, but I don't know if it comes from TX POWERSPORTS or not. I did look them up ahead of time before I bought this bike off of them. The reviews were kind of hit and miss. Some people had good experiences with them, some didn't. Most of the people who didn't mainly had issues with the shipping companies. But other than that, guys, I mean, it's a pretty decent dirt bike. I'll do another review after I ride it for a while. Maybe in about a year or something, we'll do another review on it to see how everything holds up. But for $1,600, you can't beat it. Hope you liked the video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next one.